We all know each other much better. I think there is an element of having a shared, I suppose, lifestyle really. And it's often people can discuss things with, whether it's of a business or a personal matter. They can identify somebody even at a CME meeting whom they may relate to. And that used to be the way it was, and it's often difficult for the younger generation to realise that things were very isolating. Even in big cities, were very isolating. We have a very legitimate practice of medicine, which is not mini hospital medicine or reduced hospital medicine. It's in its own right. And I think the recognition of general practice as a specialty sounds very boring, but actually it has given us a right to teach and profess our own discipline. The word profess, of course, is a very old word, but it's a very important word in that you can speak about your own discipline. You have a body of work, be it clinical work or research work or teaching, to pass on to other generations. And the college has given that confidence to the profession, which now is being built on, obviously, by younger GPs coming along.
Well, another key development was the college policy on the future development of general practice, better known as the Blue Book, which was published around 87, 88. And that gave everybody a focus as to where we needed to go, not just the college, but general practice, the specialty of general practice. That how are we going to gain credibility outside of the college membership, okay? With the Department of Health, with the health boards as they were at the time, and others indeed, the Medical Council. So the Blue Book actually gave us the platform to go and say, okay, this is now. And in many respects, they accepted that.
I think I do feel a huge sense of gratitude actually to the GPs that came before for their foresight in setting up the GP training structures that are currently there. I'm a product of that. I came off the surgeon scheme about 10 years ago now, and I can see the benefit to GP trainees. I think we're incredibly well trained. We're the envy of a lot of our hospital colleagues, and there's a huge interest always in the GP training schemes. I'm a GP now in Dublin, but I did work in Australia and the UK also, and it was very clear immediately that our training was excellent and very well recognised.
Hosnig an Kalashta, Dr. Italian Hearn, and Cardicus, Rudnur Father Bian, Marby, as we learn Dr. Yoga Tosno Gallup, Bish Marmirult.
15 years later, though, that CME seed down in West Cork had become a national movement. It had the whole gamut of small groups all over the country. They had an agenda, they had a plan, they had supervision, they had training for tutors, and a whole countrywide idea. And there it was. So that was you know, all happened within my first 10 years in practice.
The introduction of collegiality certainly is very important. Now that doesn't mean that we all think alike, and we've been challenged obviously very strongly now to clearly maintain standards, and if those standards include an element of policing each other, I think it is reassuring to the public. But collegiality has been a huge contribution.
I think the ICGP brings huge value. I think it brings collegiality, which is extremely important. It brings an appreciation that we need to have standards, that there are ways that we should do things, that we're professional about how we do things. It provides a structure of support to its members. But I suppose at the heart of what the ICGP is about is about providing a network of interpersonal communications amongst GPs, and about being part of a community of professionals who share a common interest. I've often heard it said, and I think it's true, that the only people who really know what GPs do are GPs.
Well, I wouldn't say that I've contributed a lot to college, but I make an effort. As you said, in rugby, matches are won by the forwards, by how much is by the backs. And, you know, within membership, it's a privilege and honour for me to serve. It's a privilege and honour for me to try and work with the faculties around the countryside, help them to grow themselves, help them, allow them to do their own thing and develop in their own way. I think it's great to see so many faculties becoming active. It's great to see what is being done around the countryside, and it's a privilege for me to see the enormous body of work which has been done by so many people throughout the country, and it's work which is very rarely recognised. The faculty chairs and the faculty secretaries don't have very particularly grand titles, and yet they're the people who do the work.
The goodwill of members and the people who put themselves out to do things, whether it's CME tutors, whether it's the people who were the clinical care leads when that was up and running, the directors of the training schemes. There are so many people working to improve services for both patients and for GPs.
It's an opportunity to be involved in the wider field of general practice, because I think sometimes it's very easy to become stuck in your own general practice and be quite happy with it and feel, you know, everything's going very well, but be stimulated by the whole field of general practice. And I think I would strongly encourage really all young GPs at some stage, if they could, join council for a year or two, just to see what's going on, because the variety and the depth of what's happening in college is just staggering.
The training that we receive is leaps and bounds ahead of most other training programs.
So GP trainees, I feel they provide a valuable service for the various hospitals that they work in. And I think that is recognised, that even though that we are there for a short time generally, 3 or 4 month rotations, I do feel that we can contribute. And while we are obviously learning, at the same time, I do enjoy that aspect of being a GP trainee, in that you're getting in, you're learning, but you're also contributing to the hospital system for your 2 years while you are training. I think that's valuable, and valuable to all concerned, really.
The other thing is that you do have that support and that outlet every week where you can talk about how the hospital rotation's going, not just in a negative sense, but in a positive sense as well, and what's working and what's not working. And I think that improves things for yourself and for others, because they can, feed off each other's experiences, and that's really, really important.
I always thought the trainers, the GP trainers who accommodated trainees, were for a long time unsung heroes, if you like, because they provided a great environment and were mentors and inspiration to trainees when they went out in their 3rd year and more recently into their 4th year. So, and the trainees, I feel, always came back and said, this is what our training is about. They were so satisfied in their training experience.